Hi there. Remember when Solana went down for nearly 20 hours last week? Feels like a long time ago, huh? Well, the reason that happened was that there was an IDO for a project called Grape Network, and there was all these bots who were trying to buy up some tokens on this public sale. The bots were so fast and furious that it sunk the entire Solana network for nearly a day. Okay, now fast forward to now, the team that was behind that IDO, Grape Network, just raised an additional 1.2 million from the likes of Multicoin Capital and others to provide some additional tooling to the Solana ecosystem. I'm going to toss this to you, Will. It seems like Solana is in the headlines a lot these days, for good and bad. What does this say about the state of crypto venture capital?
Totally. And for those not in the know, an IDO is kind of like the old ICO of old time, but just a little bit different on chain. You got bots, all this other stuff going on. I think it to speak to Solana here, it just says like Solana is very popular, but at the same time, it's not fully functional quite yet. And people who want to get into it just need to both understand that and also see like the long tailwinds effects here. So like if you look at Ethereum, it had a lot of problems in like 2016. There's like the Shanghai attacks and Ice Age issues. Now, a few years later, you're resting pretty nice if you invested in 2016. I think the same thing here with Solana. If you invested in January, you're doing really well. But even if not, like right now, not bad time to invest, not financial advice, but not bad time to invest if you think that this whole project has legs and is going to go somewhere. So that's why you get in the ground floor with some of these projects like Grapes, that the Grape Network rather, that have the potential to kind of bring more people onto the Solana ecosystem. So I think in general, like it doesn't speak to a lot more than just like this project is new, it has somewhere to go, and that's what these projects do. So Naomi, I'm gonna throw it to you for a little more in-depth thoughts than I have on the subject.
Sure. So it was interesting to dive into what future tools they're planning here. So apparently, a lot of this money is going to go towards helping crypto-based communities, from decentralized autonomous organizations to NFT clubs. The idea being that people will be able to connect their members' JPEG personas with internet messaging hubs like Discord. It's kind of interesting because we're looking into identity verification systems on all kinds of chains. This is not a new phenomenon. This is something that we've been diving into in the crypto space for a long time. And what's interesting about these identity verification platforms is they're not really used by consumers, like hands on, right? They're not really integrated yet. I think it's kind of interesting looking at something like Grape and saying, okay, this may be a future use case that they're finding a way to verify. Like, for example, if you talk to someone on Discord, you can verify that someone has a certain NFT, and that can help verify their identity, etc. Like, I think we're really at like level zero for all of this stuff, because even when Grape gets going, they're going to integrate with different platforms. But at the end of the day, users don't want to have any part of this. If you ask a user to implement these extra layers to verify that they're talking to someone, they're not going to do it. Whereas if you in-build it to Signal, and it's a super easy process, it's all there in the app and it's completely seamless, people do tend to use these, but it requires integration at this platform level. So we're really at the super early stages of all these verification systems, and I'm interested to see where this goes next and what kind of services start to integrate these kind of things, because it's super. Yeah, we were just talking about scams in the last segment, right? It's so important in the digital age to be able to verify that who you're talking to is who you think you're talking to, right? So to be able to use these verification systems, I think it's going to become increasingly popular. But I'll throw this to you, Zach.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, this is just pseudonymous reputation, which I think is a burgeoning field in the crypto space, especially with these NFT collectors and other artists and people who want to say, hey, I'm that same person on Ethereum as I claim to be on Solana. And I think it's going to get really
Mhm.
interesting should these tools start to sprout up. But I did want to harken back to sort of what Will was saying. I often think of these networks as like sort of like housing developments. The blockchain is like the pipes and like the roads, and in some weird future world, the houses are built by other parties. So Solana is that housing development. Here's all these other parties who are trying to build on the hottest neighborhood in town, and you have all these investors rushing in to get a slice of whatever that next house in the housing development is going to be. And I think probably the excitement for this project probably does speak to the excitement around Solana rather than the excitement around what Grape is building at present and could build in the future, though those plans are quite interesting down the road. So it's really interesting to see just people rush in to Solana as a network, as again, the price of Sol as native asset has surged, and as a bunch of people in turn look to build on that greenfield. So it's interesting to see what this next this next project or two commands in terms of investor interest, but time will tell. Jen, do you have any thoughts on the old Grape? The old Grape?
Naomi took most of my thoughts from me. I was thinking a lot around the whole play on digital identity. We talk a lot on this show about proving ownership over NFTs and the fact that VCs it's a little bit of money compared to the amount of VC money we talk about. Usually, it poured 1.2 million into this project. Tells me that the VCs are starting to understand the issue around NFT ownership and digital identity. And maybe we'll see some of that large NFT money that we see going into the platforms into solving some of these problems that we talk about often, but we'll see.